I'm Brandi Lytle, founder of Not So Mommy and creator of the olive green Childless Not By Choice Awareness Ribbon. In this special Tutum Talks series, we will speak with experts who unpack topics that are important to people who are involuntarily childless. Today, we are talking with Crystal Weber of Sharing Solace. I can't remember exactly when I learned about Sharing Solace, but it's been listed on the Lost Resources page at Not So Mommy for quite some time. I am so inspired by how Crystal has turned her pain into purpose, and I'm so grateful that Crystal agreed to speak with us today. Welcome, Crystal.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Before we get started on today's topic, would you just briefly tell us about your childless journey?
Sure. My childless journey has been, uniquely my journey and also so similar to so many others. I kind of live in two worlds. The world of a mommy in that my daughter, Madeline Elizabeth, was born at 35 weeks pregnant, or 35 weeks, whatever that means. And she lived for 8 beautiful hours. And after that, she died in my arms. So I will always consider myself her mother. But to the outside world, I am not. And I think that is a story that many of us hold, and is a tough one to acknowledge and to speak about.
Thank you for sharing that with us, and I am so sorry for your loss. And you are absolutely correct that you are Maddie's mom, and I'm glad that you own that truth. On your website, Sharing Solace, it says the mission is to provide support as people travel their unique grief journey. And as Joby, me, you, and so many who are watching understand, infertility grief truly is a unique type of pain. And it's a grief that often leaves someone feeling very alone. So will you please share with us your thoughts on the invisibility of infertility grief?
Absolutely. So grief in general is oftentimes invisible, but infertility grief is a never-ending grief, I feel like. Just yesterday, I spent time with my nephew for his first birthday. And while I was excited to be there, spending time making special memories with my family and with him, in the back of my mind, there's always well, where would Madeline be? How old would she be? What would she be doing at this point in time? Where could I have been? How would life be different? If children were in my picture. So I think that not only is infertility something that, especially as women, we take on and we internalize and often blame on ourselves, which is its own unique grief. There's also so many other little, I hate to use the word triggers, but triggers throughout the rest of our lifetime, where we're having a good time or celebrating someone else's family, or, where we're together with our family or friends and celebrating them and everything that they have going on. And we're also remembering or thinking about what is missing or what could be lacking from our lives. No matter how much therapy and work and just, sheer force, you think, I'm not going to have those feelings. I'm not going to have those emotions. You do.
You're absolutely correct. And I'm with you. Sometimes I dislike that word trigger, but they do show up even when we have decided, it's not going to happen, and we feel like we should be, quote, over it. So could you tell us a little bit how you manage those triggers, how you manage those feelings when they show up, sometimes at not the best time?
Sometimes, you mean always at not the best time, it seems like. When I do have those feelings, I don't try to hide them. I don't try to bury them. I allow myself to feel them. We're all human. We're allowed to feel two emotions at the same time. And I think for a very long time that kind of confused me. You mean I can be happy and sad at the same time? So, at my nephew's first birthday party, I was happy and joyful and enjoying my time with him and my family. And also, I was allowing myself to realize I'm missing, something is missing from here. And that's a-okay. So I think it's very important to not hide those or bury those emotions when they do show up. If they come out of your face like tears, which happens to me on more than one, always at the most inappropriate times. It is also okay to take a step away, take a step back from wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and find a quiet, comfortable space where you can explore what you're feeling, compose yourself, and then step back out into the situation that you were previously in.
I absolutely love that you say you're allowed to have two emotions at the same time, because I think too often we feel we either should be grieving or we should be moving forward or finding joy. And it is possible, as you said, to live in that and moment of doing both. Stages of grief, they're all over the place.
Yes.
We have talked a little bit about your website, Sharing Solace, but you also have written a book. Would you please tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, I would love to. The book, actually, I have a copy right here because I think it's so pretty. I need it always. It's called Confessions of a Griever, Turning a Hot Mess into a Hot Message, Laughable Lessons for When Life Just Sucks. Because sometimes it just does, and that's okay. The book is a little bit my story because I can't tell a story without infusing myself a little bit into it. There's some tips and tricks, a little bit self-helpy. There's some research and science in there. But the piece that I think is very neat, probably my favorite part of it, is that it's a choose your own path book. So if you remember those books from 4th grade, at the end of each chapter, which are very short, by the way, you get to decide where you want to go next. You're building this story. You're building this book just like you're building your life. And I feel like, why would you read a book about grief in a very, linear fashion? That's not how grief works. You're moving forward, and then you go back to the beginning, and then you're moving forward, and then you get twisted and turned around loop-de-loops. So I just felt it really resonated with me, and that's how grief works. So why wouldn't a book on grief work the same way?
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and sharing your truth with us today. And as I mentioned, you do have your website, Sharing Solace, but would you please let us know exactly how people can connect with you?
Yeah, well, obviously the website is there, sharingsolace.com. I spend a lot of time on Instagram, maybe a little bit more than I should, but I so enjoy it. Just search for Sharing Solace. or at Sharing Solace. So you'll see the big pink butterfly. And then, of course, we're on Facebook too. I have some fun on Facebook as well.